The Flash 769. Jeremy Adams writing with David Lafayette and Brandon Peterson on the art. So who came back for this? Well, it's not issue 2, but the second issue.
Not I.
Not you?
Not
I did. I regret it because it's basically just knockoff River Song from Doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is knockoff River Song.
I had to. Well, I actually quite like this character, so I'm going to upset Connor and say she's better than River Song. And Matt's going to love her because she's a combination of Booster Gold and Blue Beetle.
Yeah, she showed up in another story I remember reading. I can't remember where, but she's Gold Beetle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
indeed.
Oh.
This was all right, to be honest. I didn't have anything too harsh to say about it.
So how do the Dominators play into it based off the cover?
Not a huge deal. There's like one giant Dominator that got it's in the same way that the Raptor got Speed Force powers in the last issue. Basically, when Wally went into Bart's body in this, the discharge or something like created the anomaly of this giant kaiju-sized Dominator.
Speed Force, bro.
Speed Force, bro. You can explain shit. Yeah, pretty much. But most of the issue, other than the stuff that cuts back to Barry and Terrific and Ollie having to go put like a time capsule in the like this Flash museum so that Bart or Wally in Bart's body can like retrieve something later. Because basically they realize that Barry gets a little bit of his powers back, and the idea is that Wally, as he's plugging these holes in the Speed Force in the timeline, is fixing the Speed Force. So that's what we're doing for a bit. But it does have the caveat that Wally's body disappeared when he started doing this, so they don't know where his body is. So where's he going to go when everything's fixed? Like, what's going to happen? So that's kind of setting up a little mission for them to deal with. But most of the issue is Wally with this Blue Gold Blue. What was it?
Gold Beetle.
Gold Beetle. There you go. And yeah, so she's got the ship kind of like Blue Beetle does. That's a little bit different, but very quickly she hears the communications between Wally and the characters in the present, and it turns out that she has met Wally already before, and there's a lot of jokes and references to stuff that's going to happen soon, but she can't really tell him about that yet.
As River Song would say, spoilers.
Stop referencing your crap show, all right?
River Song has a very large fan base.
Well, la-di-da. But there's jokes here about how she's apparently got the hots for Wally's son in the future when he's grown up, and little things like that.
For Jay?
For Jay, yeah, when Jay's grown up, because she's like, hey, is he still single? And he's like, he's 8. It's like, not when I meet him.
Yeah.
Grr. Like, so there's a lot of fun stuff there. I kind of dug the chemistry between them. I thought this issue didn't dwell on the bad stuff from the previous issue that much. And in fact, if anything, the hints where, Wally sort of implies that he was about to retire as Flash, and, Gold Beetle basically sort of chuckles and goes, yeah, right, you've got like 5 crises to go through before you're done. It was kind of like an affirmation that, yeah, don't be ridiculous, Wally's not done. Like, if this was like one of the first signs in the book where it was like, no, Wally's future is still very much as Wally. And it felt like it wasn't dwelling in the darker, like, I have to get over my Heroes in Crisis shtick. It kind of said, no, we're just having fun with this, for better or worse. And I had fun with most of this issue. It wasn't necessarily, like, amazing storytelling or anything, but it was solid enough, and I had fun with the characters bouncing off of each other. Obviously, there's a cliffhanger at the end as to where he jumps to next, which I'll get into, but I had a lot of fun with most of this, to be honest, and I think it benefited because it was a regular size, because if you remember, last issue was extended, and it was like a 40-page issue. I think this benefited greatly from just being the 20 pages, and it had a nice pacing to it, and I had fun with the antics. And even just, like, how are we going to break into the Flash Museum? The same way Bart usually does, just being impulsive, and it's a full-page spread of her crashing the ship into the top of the building. It's, like, so ungraceful. I thought it was funny. So
I was not a big fan of the art in this issue. Either artists. In the future stuff with Wally, was the faces in particular I didn't like. There's a lot of faces that just looked off and kind of completely took me out of the moment.
I will say I think the future stuff I kind of like because it felt like it was very expressive and kind of over the top cartoony, but I think it fit kind of the personality of the two characters. I agree with the present day stuff though, because I mean I had the same complaints last issue about some of that being a bit off.
Yeah, it has that cut and paste feel. Like the characters aren't in their environment; they're just stuck on.
I think maybe the future stuff's a bit more down to taste than it is.
Yeah, I think it's just I
objective.
don't like some of the facial expressions the way they're done. It doesn't work for me.
I actually quite like the art and the future stuff, and luckily that is, I'd say, the majority of the issue.
It is, yeah.
So I came out feeling a bit more positive on that. But I really like Gold Beetle. I was like down for more of her going forward. And the fact that she like hugs Wally goodbye, and then like he leaves Bart's body, and then Bart's like there. He's like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing, Gold Beetle?" And she's like, "Quiet, I'm having a moment," and she just keeps hugging him. It's just really sweet. I mean, he jumps at the end to wherever he's going next. We're in the Golden Age, and it looks like he's in Jay's body, and Hitler's there with the Spear of Destiny.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I mean, I think this issue. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of the first one, even though there was definitely things I didn't like. This one, I think, sold me more on this arc, which I was very cynical about going into at the start. I think this one though, I was like, you know what, I'm actually kind of into this adventure for what it is, and I think it leaving the miserable Wally has to get over the stuff he went through stuff, and just being like, no, you've got a future, like you're totally going to be a Flash, and you're totally going to still be a hero. Like don't even kid yourself. Like that's what you are. It felt like it was sending it in the right direction. So I wouldn't say it's like an amazing issue or anything, but I think I read this last expecting it to be the sort of it'll be okay or whatever, and I kind of came out thinking, oh, you know what, I had fun with that. That was good. It was good. Maybe my expectations are just in a really shitty place with Flash right now, but I felt quite good about it.
I got it over and done with first because it was like, all right, I'll get started earlier in the week. I'm in bed. I was like, I'll read one of my comics, and then I'm looking at my list. It's like, well, I'm a little bit as tired. There's a reasonable chance I could fall asleep reading this. So I'm not going to read Nightwing. I'm going to read Catwoman. I'm obligated to pay attention to Justice League. So I guess I'm going to read Flash. So that's why it ended up being the first one I read. I think it's probably better than the first issue. I think it being shorter really does help. I don't know if that's just because it's actually paced better, or if there's less time for me to dwell on the stuff that I don't like, and it's just all right, it's over. I'm not actually sure, but I definitely preferred it over the last issue. But it has its own different problems for me. Like I say, I couldn't read their relationship without just feeling like it was knockoff Doctor Who and not as good, frankly. Which was a really distracting.
I never even
all I could think of. I
never thought of Doctor Who once, and I've seen all those episodes, which is amusing to me.
But Pete, it's been established you don't remember things, so it's fine.
That's true. I did remember that. To be fair, it's just it wasn't that good, right?
You take that back.
It wasn't that good.
I only recognize the name from Doctor Who fans. That's all. I have zero idea what her character is, but I knew that when Connor said it, Pete was going to say something. So that's why I laughed.
Once Tennant left, not worth bothering with.
That's just fundamentally not true.
Connor, who's your favorite Doctor?
I mean, it probably is Tennant. But that doesn't mean the other stuff's
Game, set, and match.
Because usually, people that say that are big Matt Smith,
I love them for very different reasons. Because Matt Smith's stuff it's a fairy tale story, essentially. Right. The overall kind of themes and tone is this fairy tale stuff. And that's great. And I love that stuff. Not all of it. Some bad episodes in there as well, don't get me wrong. But overall, big fan.
Just to sum up the thoughts on the issue is I think I had a slight worry as I was reading it because I was enjoying it. I was like half paced. I was like, I'm kind of enjoying this relationship and I'm liking this character and I'm liking the bouncing off with Wally. I was like, yeah, but like it'll be a different period, different characters next issue. And I think as I read it, I felt really confident about it because okay, you've got this like through line of the characters in the present trying to help him, and their chemistry solid enough for what it's doing. But that sort of grounds it. But then when it got to the cliffhanger at the end, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm into like Indiana Jones era Jay Garrick like adventure for the next one. I don't know. I've not looked ahead to the solicits to see what the future issues are going to be around. But if they continue down the line of known speedsters, then I don't see why this
I'm kind
shouldn't
of
be fun.
interested in having a glance in the July solicits just to see what the next arc is, because we didn't actually look, right? We just, it was there. I was like, what's it actually doing now? Says, reunite with his wife. Basically, he's getting back into being Flash, it seems still, in the next arc.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, this is the story of him realizing presumably he still wants to be Flash and doesn't want to retire, so next arc will be him settling back into actually being the Flash, presumably. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. I really liked Gold Beetle. She's a new minor favorite.
Apparently, she's only been around since Future State, and I'm confusing her with another character that's kind of similar. But I guess that's good that she made that much of an indent or an
Where
impression.
was she in Future State?
She was in the Future State Suicide Squad books. I pulled her up to see where else I would know her from, but I think she's just similar to another Booster Blue Beetle mashup character.
Oh, we should mention that her version of Skeets is called Beats, and it's shaped like a beetle.
I suppose we should mention that, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like Matt would be upset if we didn't answer that.
That's true, yes.
But it's spelled not like the headphones, but it's like the
BEETS.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
So, again, I think my favorite stuff of that first Flash issue was the Jurassic Park adventure dinosaur stuff. Because the first chunk of it is where it kind of faltered because it was dealing with all the crap that had to be dealt with, I guess. So now this issue got to just be the adventure side, and it was fun again. I'm feeling borderline confident that I will equally enjoy the next issue. Not that it will be an amazing issue, but I still went into this one with maybe it won't be that good, or it's definitely the lesser, and it still is the lesser of the books that came out this week. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, hey, you know what? Solid 7. I had fun. Connor, what you rate it?
Give it a 6. It's fine.
There you go. I'm reading the next one. I half expected to be dropping this after an issue or two, and I'm like, yeah, man.